If Elon Musk is right, full self-driving is going to be out of beta by the end of the year. Plus, is Twitter running with only 28 developers? Let's take a look. Hey y'all, it's Dr. Know-It-All. I'm going to start with a little side quest here. This was a post from Andrew Wilkinson, and I find it really, really fascinating. If it's true, this is absolutely not confirmed by any means, so treat it as, as a speculation here. But anyway, we do know that Elon Musk fired somewhere around 6,500 employees at Twitter. Then the speculation part is, a little birdie told me it's down to 2 designers, 6 iOS developers, 20 web developers, and around 1,400 sales and operations people. So the 1,400 sales and operations people doesn't surprise me all that much because it takes a lot to run a company, to commercialize things, to do customer support, all of that kind of stuff. But what's just amazing about this is 2 designers, so that means 2 people to do the visual, the UX, I assume, things like that, 6 iOS developers to do the iPhone app and stuff like that, and then 20 web developers, which are the main developing thrust. If I understand it correctly, Android's version of Twitter is actually the web version of Twitter, just with some modifications. So that's why I do not believe that there are any Android specific developers here, and it's all web developers, but probably some of those people are working on Android. And just to touch on this quickly, and I'll leave a link to the original tweet in the description, of course, so you can look at the full thing. But Andrew talks about Parkinson's law here, which is not Parkinson's disease, very different thing. But anyway, it's kind of like nature and businesses both abhor a vacuum, and that you just keep piling on people that are unnecessary into a company, especially a tech company where the profits are generally very, very large. And so you have a lot of extra cash around. You're like, what am I going to do with this cash? Well, I'll just keep hiring people. So eventually you get to the point where people are not really doing anything useful. They're just kind of hanging around, basically being deadwood and soaking up a bunch of money without really contributing anything. So that, of course, would be old Twitter and a lot of other tech companies right now. But if indeed Twitter is down to about 28 developers, more or less, that is a pretty impressive thing. Now, of course, if we look at the core full self-driving AI team at Tesla, they only have a group of somewhere around 35 or 50 people. I believe it might have expanded since then. They might be up closer to 100. But for the immense complexity of the project they're working on, it's not that many people. Now, there are thousands around them. There's labelers, there's support people, there's all of that kind of stuff. So there are thousands of people around them, but the actual core software development team is in either the mid to high double digits or the very, very low triple digits. So it's a very small group doing a much more complicated project than Twitter. So it's not that surprising, but still it is kind of like a woo, that is very, very few people. It's one of those things where if you only have 6 iOS developers and 2 of them go on vacation, you've lost a third of your staff for the week or 10 days that they're gone for vacation. So it's pretty crazy to think about that. But, a small team can move very, very quickly and can be agile. And clearly we are still looking at Twitter on the web and on our iOS devices. So, obviously it's working, and kudos to the Twitter team. If it is indeed that small, you all are doing fantastic work. So speaking of Tesla, let's turn to Tesla. Back on May 7th, Elon Musk said arguably version 11.4 of the full self-driving beta should be version 12, as there are so many major improvements. V12 is reserved for when full self-driving is end-to-end AI from images to steering, brakes, and acceleration out. So there are still old software 1.0 code things in the version of full self-driving right now. It's not completely end-to-end neural networks. I've done a ton of videos on that. I'll put a link to a couple of those up here if you're interested in looking at them. But anyway, this gets us to, the version 12 thing of Elon Musk starting to talk about that. And that brings us to the bombshell tweet from earlier this morning. Hallmark's catalog tweeted out full self-driving beta, quote, maybe later this year. That's what Elon said, so he's quoting him. But the response is what's really interesting. Version 12 won't be beta. So we can look back at this previous tweet and we can see that this is what version 12 is going to be about. But then what we can see is that Elon is saying that that won't be beta. So the idea, I assume, is that we're going to be looking at a 1.0 release of the software. In other words, it will stop being called full self-driving beta, and it will move into just being called full self-driving or whatever name they give it. They could call it Bob for all I care. But the important part here is that we're looking at later this year, and the fact that Elon is confident about this enough that he believes it's going to be at least at level 3 autonomy, which means that basically the person in the driver's seat doesn't really have to pay attention. Now, legally, of course, there's all the regulatory issues and things like that. So I'm not saying that you're going to be able to go and take a nap or read War and Peace while the car is driving you by the end of this year. But again, technologically, what he's saying is that it should be at about level 3, which means it can drive most places on its own without any human interventions. And by the by, you can consider this the first of 3 or 4 videos that are going to be linked in the next couple of days. So definitely subscribe if you haven't, and click the notification bell so that you get all the updates. But I'm going to do a couple of videos on CVPR talks that just came out from the Tesla team. And in my opinion, and James Dalma, I just was talking to him a few minutes before I recorded this video. According to both of our opinion about this, version 12 is going to be highly related to some of the stuff that leaked out during those CVPR talks. So definitely stay tuned for that one. And then finally, let's take a look at this tweet from Tesla Economics and Elon Musk's response to that, and my response to Elon, although he hasn't responded to my thing. So anyway, Tesla Economics said, Tesla Full Self-Driving Beta is the most important consequential software of our lifetime for the safety of anyone that steps in a car. Instead of bashing, fighting, and trying to slow down the progression of this revolutionary technology, for the future of humanity, we as humans should embrace, rally together, and support each other to find and fix the toughest edge cases and issues, because our efforts will have most likely saved a loved one's life in the future. And the save probably will not be reported by the mainstream media. The Ross and Dan O'Clown intersection issue has officially been fixed today by the Tesla AI team, and in my honest opinion, this wasn't a failure of an experiment, but rather this is exactly how the Full Self-Driving Beta program is designed to work. And interestingly enough, this tails into another video that I'm going to be doing in the next couple of days that's also related to this whole thing. And this is thanks to not only Ross and Dan O'Clown, but also to one of my Twitter friends, Jake S. He has done an extraordinary amount of research into stop signs and stuff. He went down the rabbit hole fully, and he gave me a bunch of stuff and gave me permission to talk about it. So I'll be doing a video on that very, very shortly as well. But here's the interesting response from Elon. He said, not as profound as AGI, but certainly profound. So what he's saying is that Tesla's full self-driving, that software stack is not as profound as artificial general intelligence, but it is still a very profound thing. My response to this, and I'm going to do a whole video on this at some point in the near future. I'm still trying to collate everything in my head. But basically my response is, I'm not at all convinced that full self-driving instantiated into cars and Optimus won't reach AGI. These robots have to interact with humans on a very intimate level. And by that, I mean just, all the time and close by, not in the sexual kind of way. And this requires an immense amount of generalized intelligence. So anyway, like I said, I will be doing a video within the next several days about that particular topic, a whole video on that. So essentially what you can consider this video today is a little bit of an hors d'oeuvre, where you get a sense of the flavor of a lot of things that are going on with full self-driving and with Twitter and with stop signs and with full self-driving beta and where it is currently and the changes that are going to be made to it. There is a lot of stuff going on. I love James Dalma's metaphor that he uses, and that is that you're seeing Tesla building the foundation of a building. So it's like you're walking by somebody constructing a skyscraper every day for a year, and all you see is some fences up and you hear a bunch of noise and you see big machinery and things like that. And it doesn't look like anything's happening, but they're building the foundation for this building. And then when they actually build the building and they put the skyscraper up, it seems like magic, like it's happening really fast. And if Elon is right and we're going to get out of full self-driving beta, and there's some indications that we might be very, very close to that, and a fundamental change is going to be coming to full self-driving beta, eventually full self-driving. If we are getting very close to that point, we are going to hit that ChatGPT moment. We're going to hit that moment where people go, holy crap, this thing is incredible. Where did this come from? I didn't see it coming. I'm telling you right now, you can see it coming. It's the foundation of the building. When the building goes up, it's going going to seem like it happens really fast, but the Tesla team has been working extraordinarily hard for the better part, what, 7 or 8 years now? I think 2015, 2016 was about when they started in earnest on this. They have been working exceptionally hard for the better part of a decade to make this happen. And when it does happen, it is going to be kudos to all the people who are working for it and who used to work for it and who made this happen, because it is going to be profound and world changing. And I think it could even lead to AGI. So let's all stay tuned to what Tesla is doing and pay attention. There's big stuff happening. All right. I hope you enjoyed this episode and found it fun and interesting and thought-provoking. If you did, please do like it so other people can find it. And of course, consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. Like I said, I've got 3, 4, 5 videos about these very topics coming up in the next few days. So definitely hit the subscribe thing, hit the bell notification icon so that you get all the updates on all of that stuff. And of course, thank you very much for watching and subscribing and all of that good stuff. Speaking of that, thank you so much to my Patreon patrons, my YouTube channel members, and my Twitter subscribers. Thank you all so much for supporting the channel in any way that you can. And if you want to join any of those, just check out the links in the description. And if you're interested in a whole bunch of really cool merch, check out our merch store. Link is in the description. We have TeslaBot t-shirts, the Tesla meme t-shirt, success is a possible outcome, 4680 battery cells. All of that stuff is on t-shirts, mugs, tumblers, and on. So check it out. And finally, don't forget, we are both Tesla and Amazon affiliates. If you look in the description, you can see how going shopping for a Tesla, a solar roof, a Powerwall, or anything on Amazon helps out the channel. In the meantime, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.